Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
People keep correcting me, telling me that it's Cybertruck and not Tesla truck. I don't care! I don't care what it's called!
Wokies have had it rough since January. Hello and welcome to another video. Let's check on woke people, shall we? Hey, hit that like real quick. If the US is paying for your health...
I was just at the thrift store and this guy kept following me around.
Okay, so far not so good.
I was like, what do you want? Like, you're being weird. And then he asked me out on a date and I was like, what would make you think that I would say yes, you're so ugly? And then it made me realize, like, every time I leave the house, it's always ugly, old, creepy men that follow me around stores. And I'm like, why would you think that we're in the same league? And it really messes with my head. Like, it really messes with my confidence. Because I'm like, maybe I am ugly. And, like, if I don't have my, like, beauty, then what do I have?
A personality? There is more to a person than just the way that they look. And might I add that looks don't stay around forever. And not everyone was gifted with good looks. So, yeah, just no.
Healthcare. Who's footing the America's healthcare bill? Countries thrive by working hard and setting...
Yeah!
What are you doing out here?
What are you doing here? Protest? Why? Read your shirt. Girls just want to have fundamental rights, and this administration is taking away my children's rights.
What rights are being taken away?
Access to basic health care for women.
Like what? What basic health care?
Abortion, obviously.
You think that's basic health care?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You think killing a baby is health care?
It's not killing a baby, honey. It's taking care of your body in the way that you choose to.
How many hearts does a human being have? One, right. So how many hearts does a woman have with a baby inside of her? Two.
One because it's a fetus.
Two. You have a heartbeat. You have a heartbeat after 2 months. Heartbeat.
Systems in place, not by getting handouts. Sex in the City was cool and all.
And this one is for the mamas. Stop getting off of work, coming home, putting your stuff down, and immediately go be a mama. Don't get off of one job and get to another job. Don't do that. Normalize getting off work, going in your room, taking your work clothes off, sitting down, scroll on your phone, talk on that phone, and tell them kids to get out of your room. Normalize me time when you get off of work. You already done gave somebody.
But Cynthia has definitely lost the plot. What does American democracy have to do with Ukraine's pride, correct?
Something I do often wonder when I talk to spiritualists who make the claim that they can speak to animals, or at least communicate with animals. There's a couple of questions that I have for you. Can animals convey concepts to you, things that they want?
For example, they say, I want my owner to take me out more. Yes.
They can convey those concepts?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So this is an honest to God question. It's going to sound very strange, okay? But I really need to know the answer to this. If an animal conveyed that it wanted to have with a person, the animal can't consent. But as you as the medium, the animal could actually consent. So how would that even be a problem then?
Technically, there is no problem.
Oh my
Wrong
God.
answer.
I think maybe you would have the ethical duty to just like not say that.
Be the middleman and be like,
Yeah.
explain to them.
Zelensky's pride. Now,
For all of history everywhere, people have understood that your body has something to do with who you are. Now, there is an alternative view that our true selves have no connection to our bodies. You could look like a man, you could have a man's genetics, but if you feel on some deep level that you're really a woman, then you are really a woman. And I don't think that's true, and I think that the social effects of that are really bad. It leads to very high rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide. So it's bad for everyone. It's not grounded in reality.
Oh, I don't even think you understand what you say sometimes. I think it is harmful that you are going around here weaponizing this rhetoric against trans people.
Weaponizing facts?
Transgenderism does not exist. We as trans people exist. We are 1% of the population. I have lived experience. You don't, and you never will. But I do have a question for you.
I have lived experience.
You are looking at a trans woman who has been transitioning for over 20 years, who has lived experience.
Yes.
You're talking to an activist here.
But your identity is not grounded in reality.
You're talking to somebody that's extremely, I'm reality.
I'm not really talking to anyone because you keep talking over me.
this is funny. Honestly, one of these freaks needs to be prosecuted. This is just crazy. There's always that weird...
What are you doing out here?
I'm coming to protest the illegal takeover of the U.S. government.
What was illegal?
Well, let's see. First off, we have him Trump letting Elon Musk actually dissolve entire U.S. departments that were mandated by Congress and put into law.
What department has been dissolved?
Well, let's see. They're going into USAID. That got pulled out.
Yeah, so all the fraud and the waste?
None discovered.
None discovered. So shrimp on treadmills, gay performances, trans performances in South America,
Liar. Bye.
This is someone's beloved grandfather, just sad.
His name was Daniel Clark Pounder, 24-year-old. He faces 20 years in federal prison after he allegedly firebombed the Tesla charging station, and that is from. So that's a 24-year-old just got 20 years in prison. You know, arguably
he's facing it.
He's facing 20 years, which is like, whoa. I get it. Maybe they're using terrorism charges. Don't get roped up in this. Don't think it's fun.
They should punish them as a means to deter other people. Unfortunately, the people that have already done these things, they have decided to do these things. This is terrorism. It's not a question of whether or not it's terrorism. It clearly is. They're doing it in an effort to intimidate and frighten people. They're destroying property. They're committing violent acts. They need to be made an example of.
You know, I wouldn't consider it. Let me get to one point out. I wouldn't consider it terrorism if it was just random, a bunch of different cars all over the place were getting beat up. It's one company is getting targeted, which is why I consider it terrorism.
One company and the private property of individual citizens of the United States.
Yeah, give them the terrorist charge. He's a 24-year-old man blowing up Teslas. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German.
And that's how you deal with idiots. That French politician is just looking to score liberal points, nothing more.
We don't have Elon Musk, people like
Hey, you, billionaire, have you forgotten how to share? Hey, you, billionaire. Tesla's not the solution to the climate crisis. We're here today doing a sit-in in the Tesla showroom because Tesla's not as green as they claim to be. While their cars run on electricity, Musk's entire empire runs on exploitation of workers, of planet, of all of us. It would take us in the bottom 99%, 1,500 years to match the amount of pollution that a single billionaire makes in about 1 year. We have so much more in common than climate refugees than we do billionaires. It's simple. Abolish billionaires, 100% tax on any wealth over 10 million, fund public services, fund climate action, take their money and fix this mess that we're in. The only people that are going to save us is us.
Wait, electric cars aren't good for the environment anymore? 100% tax. Isn't that just confiscation of wealth? Have they gone mad?
Any of you guys into so-called justice and loving your neighbor or anything like that? Or do you only love people like yourselves?
I love folks like you.
That's not even funny. Hey, all you did is say something before crossing a road. Don't be so scared. Come back and talk anytime, please.
They watch too many movies, honestly.
People are saying that Haley Steinfeld voted for Agent Orange, and I just don't know if it's true.
Who cares?
I don't know if it's true. The only thing that could possibly make it true is because she's engaged to Josh Allen.
Explain.
Only political account that he's following is the typical liberal, a right-wing, alt-right page.
He's also following DC Journal, but I shouldn't be trying to piss you off. And y'all really just be throwing alt-right out there. It's just people that disagree with you. One of her followers says anyone who dates a Trump supporter is a Trump supporter. This is her response.
I fear you are correct, because apparently Haley Steinfeld is very close to his family as well.
The absolute horror. Oh no, she's friends with her fiance's family.
For example, Josh Allen's mother follows RFK, James Woods, AC DeSantis, Kristi Noem, Lauren Boebert, Ron DeSantis, Ted Cruz, and yeah.
RFK's a Democrat.
I think I was just in denial, and apparently she used to be liberal-leaning, and then since dating Josh has become more conservative.
In denial? Why do you care what your favorite celebrity's political affiliation is? Also, she could very much still be a liberal or a left-leaning centrist. Lots of those were sick of the Democratic Party and voted for Trump this time around. Believe it or not, people don't have to be all in on one side or the other. What's funny is you're probably going to unfollow her and be a whole Haley Steinfeld hater because she might be a Trump supporter, and that's the behavior that made people turn away from the Democratic Party anyway. What you're doing right now is what potentially made Haley Steinfeld go to the right.
Wasn't on my 2025 bingo card, but I don't know why I continued to be surprised, so.
I don't know why I continue to still be surprised by people like you. Stay triggered, my friends.
It's all freedom and choices and rights until you're not on their side. Then it's fascism, racism, white supremacy, and all the phobias.
I think, too, it's really important to, when we look at affordability and the spending, the Conservative Party's complete neglect of accepting climate change.
Yeah, Michelle, please do. Yeah.
Just back to Ms. Harrison's comment about conservatives and climate change. We didn't have a $400 million green slush fund. The Liberals did. This was an Auditor General report that violated ethics, that gave money to companies who did not spend the money on green energy projects that it was supposed to spend on. We have not hit one emission target under the Liberals. So if somebody doesn't believe in climate change, it's not the Conservatives, it's the Liberals.
Emma, do you want to respond to that at all?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No, I'm good. Really? You're shutting up. That was so beautiful.
Have you guys been active in the pro-Palestinian movement?
Yeah, a little bit.
What is Iran's #1 chant that they say about America?
I don't know.
Death to America, death to Israel.
I didn't know that.
Pretty radical for like a government to be shouting, no?
Absolutely. Yeah. I need to educate myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
She seems great, honestly.
I don't like Trump. He has so much hatred in him, and his views in other countries and what he's going to do in other countries is disgusting, and I'd rather didn't come to the country at all.
I think it sounds bullshit. Yeah, he's a off. Why would you want someone who's been to court and literally got all these things against him?
I think having what I consider a full-on living dictator in our society is not good. Despite the fact that the Scottish roots, I believe he is welcomed by the majority in this country.
Doesn't look good.
Why'd you say that?
That's Donald Trump, isn't it?
Donald Trump, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has invited him to come to Scotland to visit. What do you think about that?
Honestly, it's kind of messed up. I admire him as a businessman, but not as a politician. He's a bit of a pain in the ass as a politician, so let's hope that everything goes smoothly and later he fucks off to Washington DC.
It's good to keep relations with America, but I don't think it's good to keep relations with Donald Trump. He is an awful man and an awful person. I live near the golf course, and I know everybody there does not like the golf course. People visit it because it is iconic, but I mean, I don't think he's done anything nice. You know, like even in the interview with Keir Starmer, the whole time he was clearly trying to make a mockery of the UK.
I think he's a Judas.
Once upon a time, we used to assume that if you've got a cute English accent, your IQ was through the roof. Now look how the mighty has fallen.
So you think that having sex with a 9-year-old is justified?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that so here, let me ask you a question. Okay, is the problem with
I'm asking you a question.
Well, I have to frame it. Okay, so if do you have a problem with child marriage because you think it is categorically wrong, or is it because it's conditionally wrong?
Well, I'm asking you the question.
Well, I want to understand what your understanding is, because I think that the Prophet, peace be upon him, his marriage to Aisha was at 9 years of age.
21.
So do you think that I don't think that that's wrong. I can explain it and justify it, and I'm trying to give you the entire anthropological explanation and the historical explanation of that. But like I said, it can't be done in 5 minutes. So I want to simplify it and say, do you think that this is categorically wrong, or is it conditionally wrong?
Categorically wrong.
You can justify it? You can justify it? A 9-year-old girl?
President Trump has been president now for 50 days. Do you think that he's making America great, or do you think that he's making it worse?
Worse.
What specifically is making America worse?
All of his executive orders on things like the Department of Education, like a lot of students on campus are scared for their future in education.
What specifically are they scared about when it comes down to the Department of Education?
Mostly funding. People losing their funding for school. It's difficult.
Without the federal Department of Education, there won't be federal funding? Is that the idea?
For the most part.
Where does that information come from? Like, how did you find out about that?
Mostly just reading exactly what he's putting out, all the orders, just reading the documentation.
The reason why is there's a lot of misinformation out there right now that removing the federal Department of Education will remove the federal funding that you receive at Georgia State. Removing the federal Department of Education and dispersing that money that it gets to the states will allow more states to have more ability to give even more funds to students. Isn't that good? Especially, I mean, like, the federal Department of Education's in DC. They have no idea what's going on here in Georgia State. The Georgia State Department of Education probably does. More funding for more students rather than a DC bureaucrat getting his salary for it. Is that good or bad?
I'll let you keep believing what you believe.
Just reading the stuff he put out and reading the documentation. That's just hilarious. I'm sure he gets it from Parker and Harry.
Illegal immigration is a farce.
What do you call it? What do you call it? Undocumented?
Government. It's an imaginary line.
I dare you to cross the Canada-United States line.
White man, how dare you? How dare you?
That was kind of racist.
I'm a privileged white man too. But you know what I'm doing?
You just called me a privileged white man.
You cannot be racist to white people because white people are the dominant race in this country. Full stop.
You were calling me privileged when you don't know anything about me. I could have grown up in Section 8 housing.
This is privilege.
Okay, all right. Tell me this.
Privilege.
Okay, if Ginger is a privileged white man, does his earrings count as cultural appropriation?
Are you just pretending to be stupid?
You haven't just have kids?
No.
Every time, so you're cool with all that. It's the same thing.
No. Are you saying that off and abortion is the same thing?
Neither are.
Are you just pretending to be stupid or? No, I'm being serious.
I think y'all are.
Do you understand the difference between sperm and baby? That is a baby. What does fetus means? What does fetus means? Yeah, what does a fetus mean?
Fetus is a fetus.
A fetus.
That's the term.
Yeah, it's Latin for little child. Okay, so it means little child. Yeah, Google it. Look it up. What does fetus means? That's the etymology of the word fetus.
He isn't pretending. This is all natural.
You guys care about like DEI programs in Serbia?
Yes.
Hey, that's what he's trying to cut. I can't believe it.
In Serbia?
In Serbia.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like over $1 million for that.
Really?
Yeah, to make sure that their workplaces have diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
And
Wait a minute. Are you in Serbia?
In Serbia, yeah. And then there's a transgender musical in Ireland he tried to cut too. Yeah, I don't want to.
Wait a minute. We have 8 minutes.
Huh? Go ahead, quick.
No, they're clowning on us.
No, I'm not. I'm serious. I work for USAID.
No.
That's all true. It's all
For
true.
real?
Yeah.
How often are you out here?
Just today.
Just today?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we have to catch a bus. I was gonna fact check that and come back if you're telling the truth.
Fact check it and come back, swear to God.
At least one wokey sees how ridiculous it is.
So if you looked out of your window and you saw your neighbor taking a bat to their toddler's head, would you have the same perspective as what you said to me just now? You don't care?
Yeah, I don't care.
In that scenario where you saw your neighbors taking a baseball bat to their toddler's skull, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, it's not up to me. That's up to whoever.
You would just let them kill their toddler in their front
Yeah,
yard?
man, I'd let you kill this guy. I don't freaking know him. I don't know that child. I don't know any of those people. It's their own thing.
That's really dark.
Yeah, but I mean, so is that.
No, I mean, I agree. I would say it's all murder.
Color me unsurprised.
Do you want to force rape victims to give birth to their rapist babies? I want a yes or no answer.
The question itself is phrased poorly because I'm not forcing, I want to allow. Because the only forcing that's going on in the abortion issue is abortion itself is a forced birth, which I addressed earlier. So yes, I do think that women should be required to allow the baby to live and be brought to birth, but I'm not forcing anything to happen. I'm just wanting to allow that to happen. There's no forcing involved. And so I think that the only forcing involved is the abortion industry that's forcing a baby to be killed. Does that make sense? But yes, I absolutely believe that no woman should be allowed to kill her baby under there's any circumstance that we can offer better resources for women. But I appreciate you trying to make me sound bad.
These people act like they are going to be chained for 9 months in the name of the pro-life movement.
I don't believe you could step in my shoes as a black woman and relate and understand the things. So I feel like it's not fair for you to choose what I get to do with my life because I'm a black woman in a white society.
Well, what does being black have to do with truth?
Because there are different things that we experience,
Like
and my truth might not be your truth.
What, you get into college easier than I do?
What?
Affirmative action. Yes, you get jobs and internships that white kids don't get.
Oh, we're poor white people.
You have entire movements dedicated to your race.
We're so like, okay.
Sir, do you remember those movements are to get rights. You're crazy. Okay,
Do you not believe in racism?
Of course racism exists. The Democrat Party is still alive and well.
Do you think people are racist against white people?
All the time. All the time.
That's his definition.
Affirmative action is racism against white people. Yes.
Okay.
And Asians as well. And Asians, that's right.
So I do have a question in that sense. If affirmative action is racism, why are most colleges predominantly white?
Why are they most predominantly white?
Why are most colleges, public colleges, are predominantly white?
We're a majority white country. You realize that, right? So colleges are the depiction of the nation.
Okay.
And actually, blacks on campus are disproportionate more than their population in certain areas, in certain campuses, than their population because of affirmative action.
In HBCUs? Is that
certain campuses.
Are you talking about HBCUs?
So, but let me just ask.
Goldilocks over there is fighting hard to get a cookout invitation.
I don't like that we give our military guys 10% discounts.
I don't like that we give people 2 seats on a plane for the price of 1, but...
Guess we all have things we don't like then.
I'm really about to show y'all why we need to move out of America. Look at this. They're selling lion chops. They're taking exotic animals and cutting them up and putting them in our local grocery store.
Bad liberals think the Department of Education has done anything for Americans? Exotic meat?
How do you feel that gays take up 2% of the world's population but commit 45% of sexual assaults against children?
Love is love.
You can't make these things up.
It's gonna be great. You're a winner.
Oh my god, when I'm talking, you're not talking.
Sorry.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why, yes, we'll have to just cut him out of the show. And that is called, what's the word of the day?
Man-interrupting.
Man-interrupting, which could be a positive, it could be a negative, or it could be a...
Correctile dysfunction.
Yes, correctile dysfunction. I think that's one of our children trying to get into the room. But you know, the whole point is, because our children are about to come in, the whole point is that we interrupt each other all the time. Or sometimes our kids interrupt. Hi, babe. Okay, I'm coming.
Okay, go get Carmen.
Okay, so now that we cleared all of that up, wait, I cleared it up. Give me a kiss just so they know that I'm not.
Oh, I'm so happy.
And give me a kiss.
You know what? Alec got what was coming to him. It's heartbreaking to see, but a liberal deserves a liberal. Is womanhood just skirts and makeup to you? Sorry, bro.
So there was a dress designer that turned down Melania Trump to design her dress. She opted out. Do you think that she has the right to do that?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Do you think it's okay for her to do that?
Yeah.
So if you were, let's say, a Muslim singer here in Madison, and a church approached you for an Easter service for you to sing, do you have the right to opt out of that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you have the right to opt out of doing whatever you want.
So let's say you're a Christian photographer here in Madison, and someone approached you to do a same-sex wedding. Would that be hateful or discriminatory to opt out of that?
I don't know.
In that situation, probably not, because that would bring up some legal issues, I would suspect.
Like that city ordinance, right?
Yes, yeah.
The one that you didn't agree with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a jerk for doing that.
So your political views, your ideas, and kind of worldview is okay to say no to business, but your religious views aren't?
No.
Honestly, they are just horrible people. Legal issues for Christians, but the Muslims and the liberal stylists can go scot-free. I know you're hypocritical, but can you at least try?
I call myself and other women, not girls.
Refusing to yield to men when they're walking down the street.
When a man's getting aggressive, I hit him with the, I can reacting a little emotionally. Let's think a little more like me.
I like to ask my male colleagues during our meetings.
When someone talks about going to, I ask what she said.
A lot of sports, but when I do, I try to put on women's sports to help ratings and to lift women's media.
When a man says he is babysitting his children, I make sure to correct it to parents.
Whenever something needs moved and someone's like, let's let them in.
Imbalance of power. He built the franchise from nothing into the liberal career path. You want him to make frappuccinos too?
Klan. The KKK.
Well, the Klan was what we would call today a domestic terrorist group.
Why? Why would we call them domestic terrorist group?
Because they tried to use fear and force to change political environment.
And what was the motivation for the use of fear and force?
It was based on race and ethnicity.
Right. Are you aware of the perception of many about how the power and the discretion at ICE is being used to enforce the laws? And do you see any parallels?
I do not see any parallels between
I'm talking about perception.
Officers and agents.
I'm talking about perception.
I do not see a parallel between what is constitutionally mandated as it relates to enforcing the law.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
That puts ICE in the same category as the KKK. Is that what you're asking me?
No, I'm very specific about what I'm asking you. Are you aware of a perception?
Why am I just seeing this? She actually said this and went on to be vice president and even tried to be the president.
I started writing this song the day that an R-wordist was elected for the second time as president of the country I live in. I look down at my grocery cart filled with Plan B books and ace placing bets on which one I'll use first to keep me safe. You prop your right hand on your heart to swear so solemnly. If it's your word against mine, they'll wipe your record. Clean. Now I'm crying at my coffee shop, I break down at the gym, screaming at my windshield all the hurt that I held in. Nothing in this world could ever undo what you did, 'cause I'm the living proof that when you weigh my choice, sentence me to silence, vilify my...
I was shocked when I saw this too.
I think both sides are very tribal.
Yeah.
But in terms of cult, at this moment in time, I think the left is more cult-like. I was in it for 20 years, what's known today as the woke left, but we used to call it social justice left, progressive left.
Known by conservatives as woke.
Right, but here are some of the characteristics that I think make it more cult-like than perhaps the conservative side. One is that if you had questions, you had to check your privilege, or there was always some line that they would use to get you to stop asking questions, just sort of cult-like. And then the other thing was there was this encouragement to separate from people who didn't agree with you. And so I slowly over time like whittled my world down to just people who were in the social justice left. And there was really, for people who left, which I did eventually, which was a long process, it's a bit like you become an apostate. You don't just leave or have different opinions. It's like once you leave, you can't come back.
Of course it's a cult. To be clear, she called MAGA a cult, and Charlie said
Biden could definitely serve another 4 years. Like 100%.
Okay, come on.
Oh wait, don't. I'll break.
Jerry, don't go that far now.
No, I'll break it all down.
Are you getting paid by the Biden administration?
No, I'm not.
The Democratic.
If you're gonna protest Elon Musk, don't do what this guy did. His name is Brandon Joseph Velez, and I know that because he has a mugshot now. I guess he showed up to his gym parking lot and remembered all the TikTok videos that are coming out of other people destroying property, vandalizing dealerships, and he was like, you know, I'm gonna do it too. So you can see him looking around like, is anyone here? And then he attempts a very bad keying of a swastika on the Tesla. Then he walks away like he accomplished something magnificent for society. I mean, if you're gonna stare around to see if there are any human eyes, why don't you just Google whether or not Teslas have cameras that can catch you doing what you're doing? Because they have cameras recording everything around them all the time. Someone just explain, what did Brandon try to draw on that Tesla? That ain't a swastika, man. That's just a bunch of white lines. Terrible criminal. Of course he just so happens to have his pronouns in his LinkedIn bio. Now he has a felony to his name, probably gonna lose his job now, and if he tries to get a new one, well, good luck to him, because he's a felon now. And he's gonna lose his access to Crunch Fitness. He'll have to pay the thousands in damage, as well as pay the court fine. But he also faces 12 to 18 months in jail. And then not only that, most people are forgetting, the DOJ now has him on a list. People think, why isn't the FBI deploying agents across the country, arresting all these people? Because the federal government is slow, and it's always gonna be slow. But secondly, they're building case files on these people. We're gonna see some kind of federal RICO case against all these people committing crimes against Teslas and Tesla dealerships, putting owners' lives at risk. I mean, the various states are gonna differ in how they charge people, but Uncle Sam doesn't play. The January 6ers will tell you that. Those guys were entrapped. So just think about what the Tesla people who are caught on video doing the crimes, what are they gonna face? Just a quick little piece of advice to the kids at home. Don't go commit crimes because you think you're fighting Nazis, because some TikTok anons keep calling Elon Musk a Nazi. He's not. He's just trying to expose the waste, fraud, and abuse in our federal government. And that's what we wanted when we voted.
Party fits that description more. He isn't wrong either. Nurse, he got out again.
I just got back from delivering 11 pizzas to a church, and the order total was $101. Guess how much they tipped me? It's not okay.
Go take your meds, bro. Someone said we went from we just want to get married to we just want your daughters to be cool with us naked.
Because we're not safe in restrooms, and neither are cis women.
Women aren't safe because there are men in our restrooms.
It means that cops can now decide who they want to manually check to see if they're a woman. They get to now decide what their definition of looking like a woman is.
We don't need police officers checking inside of people's pants to know what they are. Why? Because it's going to be on legal documents. Like it should be. Take the L.
Very quickly, and I agree. Now imagine this was reversed. Just imagine. The exact words she said, but Linda is saying it.
If we're going to have a true crackdown on illegal immigration in this country, it has to involve everybody who's participating in it. And I think you've raised a good point with this topic. And so employers and anyone else who's part of this pipeline, I think they ought to be put on notice. And you got to play by the rule. Everybody has to play by the rules.
I don't want to hear that they're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors.
I'm picking strawberries.
These building trades guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem.
So you want slaves?
President Trump has been president now for 50 days. What do you think about his job so far?
I have never been, even his first time in office, I am noticeably more anxious.
What are you specifically anxious about?
Well, I specifically am part of the LGBTQIA community, so just thinking about like my own rights, but also like so many of the close people that I have in my life are trans or in some way like identify on like a non-binary scale, and just having that community so directly attacked is scary, concerning.
You mentioned something about President Trump taking away the rights of individuals that are in the LGBTQ community. What are some rights that he's taking away from that community?
Well, just thinking about the...
A big one that he signed was that trans women are no longer able to compete in women's sports.
Yeah.
A member of that community, what do you think about just in general that topic?
I do not want to speak for the trans community. I myself do not. I definitely identify figuring out my identity somewhere maybe like on the non-binary scale, but I do not completely identify like as a trans person.
Okay.
And so it's just not a topic that I think would really be appropriate for me.
The scary, concerning thing is asking you to legally stick to what you were born as.
Okay for us to ask for a fair playing field though? Like,
Well, we're trying to have a real conversation about ideas, right? We have different ideas, and I'm letting you talk, and I'm asking you questions. That's all.
So what do you think has been the benefit of Doge so far?
I think that America has the biggest, most expensive bureaucracy in the world, and it's riddled with corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse.
What waste, fraud, and abuse have you personally seen?
We've spent tens of millions of dollars on global DEI programs, inclusive language programs, transgender surgeries in Guatemala and South America.
Now we're going to even the playing field for white people? That's what we're doing? We're evening the playing field for white people.
What does race have to do with this at all, though?
If I go overhaul your company, I know nothing about companies.
We're profitable. The federal government is not profitable, not even close.
Supposed to be profitable. You don't understand government.
You need an ROI.
You serve people. There is no corruption compared to the private sector. There is much less waste.
Do you work for the government?
I have not right now, but I have, and I've worked for the private sector, and I can tell you, you're wrong. Have you ever worked in the public sector?
I work in the private sector.
No,
people who work for the government work for the taxpayer.
Yes.
So we have a right to want to eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse.
Ignorant. You are ignorant. You are not.
That's why I'm here asking questions today.
All of that, and they still couldn't make one point.
Talk about weight stigma and fat phobia in horseback riding.
Horses are people. They're not. They're animals. They're living, breathing creatures. And if I, a 320-pound man, get on top of a horse without a balloon to offset my weight, I will destroy that creature. It will die. I'll snap its back and will be eating horse meat. And I'm not against horse meat, but I think I am unironic about this. I think if we understand that being overweight can significantly hurt a horse, and it's some kind of abuse to ride the horse. That's it. That's all it is. I don't take it personally as an overweight man, okay? If you screamed at me when I tried to ride the horse ignorantly and I didn't know this, that would be rude. But if you said, listen, bud, I'm sorry to tell you, I own this horse. I love this horse loves me. We kiss sometimes. We did a Mr. Hands one time, and I'm still here to tell about it. I can't have you ride the horse. You're going to hurt it. I'd say, I totally understand that. That is, you're being respectful to me. I feel like the conversation's done. We don't even have to engage. We're going to keep going. But we're done.
Is that her hair or a really bad hat? I don't think these people know how
a man get pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm a male. Can I get pregnant?
If you were transgender, yeah.
How would that work? So for our viewers and for my edification, how would that work? If so, I'm a male, chromosomes, biological, etc. How could I get pregnant?
Well, if you're assigned female at birth, then you would still have like a woman's stuff. But then if you identified as a man...
No, as in, sorry, that's my fault, my wording.
Sorry.
No, so if I'm a biological man,
yes.
And I don't have a uterus, as a man, can I get pregnant?
If you're assigned male, then no. You don't have those reproductive systems.
Elections work all of a sudden. Black Lives Matter was a revolutionary movement.
So you're comparing abortion to the Holocaust?
Absolutely I am. In fact, it's worse. It's worse.
It's really not. I don't
It's
think
45 million babies. It's nearly 8 times worse than the Holocaust. What's the moral difference between a small baby in the womb and a grown Jew who was killed at Auschwitz? What's the moral difference? One is older.
Is a person?
What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human, but
therefore
it's an
they should have
embryo.
human rights.
No.
Or whatever Democrats say, just put the T.
While that is still in my body, is my choice.
What is the womb designed for?
It is designed to carry a clump of cells.
Where were you before you were born?
My dad's, I guess, testicles.
It wasn't you yet, because you is when there's a unique individual
so when I was
genetic
born,
identity.
then yes.
Come on, the science shows at the moment of fertilization, sperm egg fusion,
The
you have
science
unique.
doesn't
That's
actually
when
show that.
It does show that you have unique individual
the
genetic
science
identity. That is a
fertilized
fact.
that there is cell multiplication.
But
that does
what
not
kind of
show,
cell multiplication? It's not like skin cells. What is it? Come on.
It's a massive cells.
But what is it? It's a human embryo, right?
Well, yes.
That's developing rapidly.
But it is a clump of cells.
But we already said we are clumps of cells. So you're kind of using that pejoratively, like, oh, you're a clump of cells. You can be aborted. You can be miscarried. It doesn't matter. Who cares? You and I are clumps of cells. So it's a
not
little
clump- but
dehumanizing.
yes, I am being dehumanizing because it is a clump of cells.
But we are clumps of cells. We already you acknowledge that. Why wouldn't you dehumanize us
because
that
until
term? But
you are
dehumanize the baby.
actually outside of my body, there are no rights. Because if there were, my friends, there would already be laws on the books. And currently, there are no laws on the books that say that anything that happens before that birth means that they are not actually live.
That's actually inaccurate. So even in states like California, there has been such a thing until recently, in the last 2 years, as illegal abortions. Are you aware of that? So even in states that are blue states, there are illegal abortions where it says, yes, before birth, this is a person that has some rights and we're going to protect them.
Refused to be mooched off of. Kamala couldn't articulate the war. Biden called Zelensky Putin. Bear.
You guys are also upset at a system that I am upset with, that many people are very upset with. And
are you upset? We're not upset for the same reasons, though. I'm upset because I think that black people get preferential treatment. DEI, affirmative action. Carmelo Anthony was released on 75% reduced bond with $400,000 raised in his name. He killed his white classmate, stabbed him through the heart with a knife.
so here's the thing. You know that DEI is not about raising, like giving, okay.
It prioritizes black people.
Let me speak, please. It was something that was a big deal and is a big deal because of the civil rights movement, and it's not taking anything away. It's raising standards, and I don't really want to get into DEI with you right now.
It's a violation of the Civil Rights Act and the 14th Amendment.
Yes, and what I more so want
and you
to
support
say,
that?
And I know who you are, and I know what you're doing. Answer is not antagonizing one another and hurting
I'm not
one
antagonizing people. I'm trying to have conversations.
That's what you're doing right now, and it just...
I'm trying to have conversations.
It's sad because...
Trying to have conversations with people.
we are all looking for the same information, and the information
I'm just looking
that
for
you're
conversations.
looking for is not going to be found
Listen,
in conspiracy.
I'm not seeking anything. It's not a conspiracy theory. DEI happened. It's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. It's also a violation of the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause.
on this. I just wanted to say...
Do you agree that it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act?
Nope.
Does it or does it not prioritize black people?
Yeah, because they've never been prioritized.
So if you treat people differently based on their skin color, that is a violation of the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, and you support that.
There are ways you can find your education, and conspiracies and MAGA.
Do you support
are
the Civil Rights
a
Act?
Way of...
Do you support the Civil Rights Act?
Yeah. And...
How can you reconcile that?
And just be like level with you.
Well, you weren't having a conversation with me. You were condescending me.
You were interrupting me while I was speaking.
That's how conversations happen. You go back and forth. You're condescending me.
Okay. Goodbye, buddy.
Somebody transcribe her argument, please. I am very confused.
How do you think Trump's doing so far?
Not good.
Not good. Why not good?
I mean, I'm not really that involved with politics, but I know that he just canceled the education for the United States, right?
Well, there you have it, folks. Everyone is illiterate starting 2025.
Do you agree anybody should be able to serve in the military if they meet the standards?
Senator, as the president has stated, I don't disagree with the overturn of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Great, because I don't want you thinking, can't serve if you're a mom, can't serve if you're LGBTQ, and then last, can't serve if you're a leftist. The statements you said about people who have views differently than you, that we're the enemy, are you saying that 50% of the DOD, if they hold liberal views or leftist views or are Democrats, are not welcome in the military? Are you saying that?
Senator, I volunteered to deploy to Afghanistan under Democrat President Barack Obama. I also volunteered to guard the inauguration of Joe Biden, but was denied the opportunity to serve because I was identified as an extremist by my own unit for a Christian tattoo.
Now let's talk about discrimination.
The time to get Luigi Mangione.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's a saint.
Do we feel like we need more of those people right now to deal with this fascist regime that we're fighting against?
To be honest, yes. I know that they say that violence isn't the answer, but that's what they count on from us too, so I'm a little worried about that.
I remember at school I would actually get bullied consistently by the conservative kids.
They're the ones that actually bully you. I have a Republican father who constantly was like that too.
An inverted scrotum, so it's like it doesn't appear like I have balls, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you got bullied for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you did.
What is that on her lips? Grinch piss or something?
Here with the Alliance of Male Feminists defending women's bodies. It seems like you've made it your life mission to remove the choice of the woman.
Does a mother have the right to kill her child?
Not kill, but what I'm trying to raise awareness right now is that we need to abolish child neglect laws because that forces women to use their bodies even with babies. Now, I'm not saying they should be allowed to kill babies, but I'm saying they should be allowed to let nature just take its course. You at least are trying to be consistent on the life issue. That's why I've got this petition here to get people to see that we must abolish child neglect laws if we're going to be consistent that it really is her body and her choice.
I tell that this is a shtick, and I will say it's very effective, and I tend to agree with where you're trying to go, which is to abolish child neglect laws is the furthest extrapolation of a pro-abortion view. Which
that's consistent.
Of course. He doesn't actually believe this. This is a shtick.
Okay,
yeah, got it. Fine.
So.
A grown man in a Hannah Montana shirt. I didn't even know they still made those.
My name's Frankie, and I'm getting arrested today protesting Elon Musk. Bought his way into office. He bought his way into heading a government agency. He bought his power at the expense of the American people, the expense of our environment, at the expense of our world and all of the people in it.
You just want an excuse to skip classes and break stuff. Be honest. As you should.
Let's get to the part where you hate gay people. Come on.
Why you're putting words in my mouth?
Baby, I'm reading in between
Why do you have a
lines.
cross? You support homosexuality with a cross?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Well, my idea of Christianity is decolonized.
Decolonized?
Sorry. You want to pick and choose certain passages.
I'll grant that. Yeah, let's grant that we all pick and choose whatever we want to fit our narrative.
My idea of Christianity is based on the very baseline that God is supposed to be loving, right?
Okay, and is loving acceptance?
Yeah.
Loving. Okay, so we should accept pedophilia.
No.
Okay, so now you contradict yourself again.
Yeah, but you want to compare homosexuality and pedophilia.
I never compared those two. You said I asked you a question about God. I asked you about God. I asked you about God.
So how dare you?
This is amazing. This is amazing. I never said I never compared them.
Grown people loving each
other.
Look,
you're not logically following. No, but you're not logically. You're not logically following. You said God is all loving, and then I said is love acceptance.
Right.
You said yes. Okay, should we accept pedophiles? I didn't say homosexuality.
I said no.
Right, but you just said love is acceptance. So if God is all loving, He should love everyone and everything. That's a contradiction.
So
He does love all kids.
Listen.
What do you mean by your idea of Christianity? Did an angel bring her a different book?
I don't give a Just kill him! You have to! I'm not asking!
Are you mad? You seem really mad. That's kind of how I act when I'm driving. You don't want me on the road. Like right now, self-driving Tesla sounds amazing. Actually is. We went to go test drive them because we're gonna buy 2 of them. Yeah, the self-driving feature is like amazing. But yeah, that's how I act when I'm driving because I'm a very impatient driver. Like I don't have road rage. I definitely yell with the windows up, but I do a lot of yelling and a lot of cussing and a lot of swearing and mentally flipping people off.
See what I mean? Well, that is a wrap, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget those 3 buttons, and I'll see you in the next one.